Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 217. Thank you for joining us as always on this customized Sunday evening, Earth date October 10th, 2021. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock. With me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Folse. Hello, Brandon.
Hello, Remington. How are you?
I'm fine, and hello, listeners, and hello, Bucky, who's sitting in with us today. Hi, Bucky.
Hello.
How's your hammer hanging?
To the left and horribly.
Horribly.
It's just a mangled mess.
Yeah.
I don't agree to that. Don't agree to anything that's said from here on out. This is just a fake podcast.
I agree 100% to everything.
His dick's like Dr. Doom. He tried to fit a mask on it, but it burnt it.
I put a condom on, melted itself to my penis. I'm now Dr. Dick.
Well, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Who's it's not always dick talk, just about 50% of the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the time it is.
Is that the porn version of TikTok? Dick talk?
You got a little giggle out of me. That's all you're gonna get, though. Nothing else.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Brandon, how have you been?
I've been pretty good, man. Just working.
Yeah.
Been playing a lot of Magic Arena on the laptop.
Yeah, you've been talking about that quite a bit.
Yeah, nobody will fucking talk about Magic with me.
Well, I'm sorry. In much the same way we don't talk about fucking Hearthstone with Kevin, I don't play it. So.
Yeah, but you've played Magic before. You could at least be like, oh, cool.
I think I did once.
One time I acknowledged your post.
Yes. I don't even understand the game anymore. Once they brought in the planeswalkers and really started leaning into that whole mechanic, I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play Magic either.
I'm sorry, man. I cannot relate.
But yeah, I built my own deck on there, and I've been doing really well with it. Surprisingly well with it, actually.
Nice. So I remember these. Wasn't it a like a tournament ready deck or something? Is that what you said?
I've been playing in standard, which is like their mode where you can only play from the past, I think, 4 or 5 sets.
Uh-huh.
And you can only make your decks from that. So I made one out of that. And I kind of cheated. I say that I made the deck. I looked up a deck list for a card that I wanted to base a deck around and got a general idea of deck lists and then kind of made it my own.
As long as you didn't outright copy it.
What happens if I outright copied it? Is our friendship over?
No. But I will judge you from here on out.
Okay. And you've never judged me before, so this would be a new development.
Yeah, not ever once.
You're notoriously non-judgy.
Yes. 100%.
You judgy prick.
He shouldn't work in a courthouse then.
God. Thanks for that, Bucky. How have you been?
I've been...
But I wasn't judging. What'd you say? I'm sorry. Just Ben?
Yeah. I
Ben
did
Affleck?
something fun. Yes. I wish. I wish I was Batman. I did something fun last night.
What'd you do?
I made some homemade tomato soup, and it was delicious.
Out of real tomatoes?
Can of real tomatoes, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah. Turned out really good. Better than Campbell's.
Yeah. We have a cherry tomato bush that has gone out of control in the backyard, as well as I think it's an heirloom tomato. I think we figured out that it is an heirloom tomato, but it's called Midnight Snack, and it's a little like a cherry tomato or a grape tomato in that it is kind of smaller than like a hand-sized tomato, but it's black on the top.
That's weird.
And then it gets a real deep red on the bottom. And her dad had grown them last year, and man, those things are fucking delicious. So if you're a tomato lover, look up Midnight Snack and see if you can grow some of those, because they're dope. But they take this, at least ours have been taking forever to ripen. Like, we've been picking cherry tomatoes left and right, but these Midnight Snacks have still yet to fully ripen to one that we can actually eat.
Yeah.
So what makes them better than regular tomatoes? Because I don't like tomatoes. I think I've made this clear before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what would make these different.
Well, if you are a staunch tomato hater like Brandon, then you're not going to know any different anyway. But if you enjoy tomatoes, then the more you enjoy different tomatoes, the more you'll realize that there are different taste profiles within each one. So the Midnight Snack is a little less acidic and a little more sweet.
Yeah.
And just, I don't want to say it has a better mouthfeel, because I always hated that term, but I mean, it definitely has a different feel in your mouth than other tomatoes.
Oh, tomatoes. Okay. I thought you were.
Yes, Brandon?
Thought you were talking about penises.
What the fuck?
I don't know. We haven't recorded in forever.
So we're going for all the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's what this is.
The twigs and berries, as it were.
I got a couple of midnight specials for you.
Oh.
Midnight snacks.
Oh. Midnight snack of my dongle. Speaking
Perfect.
of dongles, I got a Bluetooth dongle for my PC. That's literally what it's called.
Yes, it is. That's what it's called when there's a little thingy sticking out of your computer.
Yeah. And I can't get it to work properly.
Well, that's good.
Like, I got it to where I had I have a set of Bluetooth headphones that I use all the time. I got it to connect to my PC.
Uh-huh.
But when I tried to play a YouTube video, the sound just came out of my regular headset that's plugged into my mic.
Uh-huh.
So
did you redirect the sound to the Bluetooth headset?
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I think I'd have to what you said.
Yeah. So when it's hooked up, if you right click on the little speaker icon and go to your open sound settings, and then down at the bottom is advanced sound options, and you can change the input and output to what's going where.
Yeah.
And that's what you do, everybody. I'm going to leave it in there unless Brandon edits this, and then he may or may not take it out.
No, my plan was to cut out everything you say.
Okay. Oh God, that would be sweet.
So it just sounds like we're talking to a ghost.
You cut out what he says, but you just put the exact same amount of time that it took for him to say it, and it's just silence.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
You figure out how to put a ghost filter on there, and I just sound like this all the time. Ooh.
Well, you already figured it out. You just hold that button down the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had COVID at the beginning of September.
Oh yeah? How'd that work out for you?
I'm just now getting my smell back.
Ah.
And because of my heart stuff, I'm still not breathing to my full capacity. But
yeah,
other than that, I'm doing okay-ish.
So it hit you pretty hard?
I mean, the worst it did was I'm getting winded a lot more frequently than I did before.
Yeah.
And that's it. That and the loss of smell was the worst I got. The breathing was never so bad I had to go to the hospital or anything, but nothing I couldn't handle. But
right.
Got a lovely 2-week vacation from work.
Right.
That also sucked.
And I mean, despite the fact that, you do have a heart condition, had a couple of surgeries, you're still a young man. You're still keeping active because your work requires you to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I still eat like garbage though.
Yeah. That doesn't catch up to you until you're in your late 30s. Isn't that right, Brandon?
I don't want to talk about it.
Brandon was talking about eating a Baconator.
I had a Baconator and bacon fries.
and the terrible affliction that it had upon his body.
Dude, I legitimately had heartburn for 2 days.
God. Dude, I am in a constant state of heartburn.
We just can't do that anymore, man.
Yeah, but I figured one Baconator and one order of Baconator fries, how bad's that going to be?
Apparently pretty bad.
Yeah.
2 days worth of heartburn bread. I guess if you're okay with dealing with that.
I had Wendy's today.
Man, I get heartburn and I get it really bad. Like, I feel like at some point I'm going to have to go to the doctor and get one of those tubes down my throat for them to like check it out and make sure everything's okay. Because I get heartburn like really bad anymore.
Do you take anything OTC for it?
No.
Okay. You might want to start keeping some Pepto around or something, man. Malox.
Yeah.
Or just a glass of milk helps me.
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so milk kind of fucks me up even more.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot.
So then you'd have heartburn and shitting your guts out.
Exactly. Maybe it would balance the heartburn because maybe I would poop all the heartburn out.
Yeah. Maybe the pooping would be faster than the acid reflux.
That's a good idea.
It just goes shooting out the bottom instead of the top.
Goodbye.
Let's get to some fucking stories before we have to put anybody else through more of this.
Yeah, before our listeners just turn this off completely.
All right, Bucky, since you are the guest, why don't you start us off with something fancy?
I got movie news.
Okay.
So, Brandon, I have a question for you. You like Nintendo?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Mario?
I love Mario.
How do you feel about them creating a new movie based on Mario?
I saw that they were making a movie based on Mario, and I mean, it's not going to be for me probably, but I really like Detective Pikachu, so if they can kind of capture that market, then I think Mario could be pretty good.
Well, it's being made by Illumination, who've done Despicable Me and Minions and others.
Okay, and I know there was some
the cast list.
Yeah.
The voice of Mario is going to be Chris Pratt.
I mean, Chris Pratt has to do like a traditional Mario accent, right? They can't have him just like, hey, it's me, Mario.
I don't know. This is the thing that I don't understand, though. Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, is going to be in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It's cool they're giving him some work at least, but yeah, I would have preferred if they had kept him as the voice of Mario, which I know a lot of people were complaining about online.
I guess my thought on that is, I mean, all he's really done is just said a few words and some screams.
It's a me, Mario. Wah!
Yeah, like
but
can you make a whole movie out of just doing that voice? That's the question.
He was Paarthurnax in Skyrim.
Yeah, he's a pretty accomplished voice actor, I believe.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying that he couldn't. I'm just saying that it would be weird
if suddenly Mario talking like this the whole time.
Yeah, it's like everything that he says. Yeah. But, well, I don't know. I don't remember watching the cartoon, now that we talk about it.
In the cartoon, didn't he have just like a gruff Italian accent?
Yeah, he was like this.
It's me, Mario, and my brother, Luigi Mario.
Yeah, that was his voice in the cartoon.
I'm a plumber.
I don't know.
It's me, Marlo.
I'm a huge fan of the original movie, so.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That is easily one of the best movies of the late 80s, early 90s. Or whenever it came out.
The live-action Mario movie?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that movie, like, notoriously terrible?
Yeah, 1993 is when it came out. Bob Hoskins as Mario, John Leguizamo as Luigi, Dennis Hopper as Bowser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all good.
Well,
it was fantastic.
The cast list, some of these people I haven't heard of on the cast list, but Luigi is going to be voiced by Charlie Day.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Peach is going to be Anya Taylor-Joy.
Not sure who that is.
Neither am I. Bowser is going to be voiced by Jack Black.
Which, I think that's a good choice. I mean, Bowser doesn't really talk a whole lot. Yeah. Well, he talks a lot, but he's not voiced, really, in any of the games. Yeah. So I wonder if Jack Black will try to put on, like, a deep Bowser voice, or whether he'll just be Jack Black.
Just gonna be Trogdor.
I think you'll know that it's Jack Black. Like, I don't think there's really any hiding his voice. It's very distinct. But at the same time, he definitely has a lot of range, so it could be interesting to see him playing what would equate to the villain in something.
Yeah.
And then Donkey Kong is in it, and he's going to be voiced by Seth Rogen.
Oh, God.
I hope he does his little Seth Rogen laugh. Just
yeah.
Then you got the voice of Toad as Keegan-Michael Key of Key and Peele.
Uh-huh.
And then Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong.
Okay. That's kind of neat that they're going to have Cranky Kong in there.
Yeah. Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. And then Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike. I don't know those last characters at all.
Who'd you say you cut out as Spike?
Yeah.
I don't know. My Mario knowledge might be one of the Bowser kids or one of like the other Mario villains.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I feel like I'm interested to see how this is going to go because it's not going to be like the other couple halfway decent video game movies that have come out being Detective Pikachu and Sonic.
Yeah.
Why do you say it's not going to be like those?
Well, because those were a mixture of live action and animation. And like computer generated animation. This is Mario's gonna be a fully animated movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
Lego movie is really popular. All the Lego movies.
Yeah. I've seen the first one, and I think the second one. And Chris Pratt was in that one.
Yeah.
It's a me, Lego Man.
I would say I'm pretty indifferent to the whole thing. I haven't seen any of these. I haven't seen Sonic or Detective Pikachu. Although if I were to like be talked into seeing either of them, I'd probably see Detective Pikachu first because it just looked really neat.
Yeah, it's fun.
They're both great movies.
The argument here against or with Charles Martinet, that was his name, right? Charles? Yeah. With Charles Martinet not being chosen as the voice for Mario, is that people are saying that voice actors aren't being given the chance to voice major movie roles, and instead they just keep giving actors the roles where they voice act. Do you think that's a problem?
I do, especially for these voice actors who have had a long history of running the same character. Especially in instances where that character has had a lot of lines over the years. But they're putting him in for star power, and star power draws ticket sales, and, you know, people who don't follow voice acting don't know who he is.
True.
I mean, you say Charles Martinet, no one would probably know what you're saying, but if you said, oh, the voice of Mario, people would be like, oh, I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an unfortunate truth, but there just aren't that many people who are into following voice actors and their careers and who voices what. So,
yeah, the only ones I really know are from like the Clone Wars series, off the top of my head that I can think of anyway.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of movie actors who have crossed over into the video game world as well and have done voices for countless video games.
Yeah, I mean, you see the advertisements for Far Cry 6 right now.
Yeah, with Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think people are going to see this Mario movie specifically because Chris Pratt is in it? Like, there's got to be some people who are like, oh, Chris Pratt's new movie, let's go see it.
Yeah, there's going to be, I'd say a small section of the audience is going to see it for that. But it's also being done by Illumination, so and I think I've seen one or two of their movies, but I wasn't a huge fan of them.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
think
don't
the
seem to
star
care
power. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, Illumination doesn't seem to care about like overall story all that much. They just want to hit like beats. Like they want the moments, like the memorable moments of the movie. They don't want a real strong, cohesive story, at least from what I've seen and what I've heard regarding the studio.
Yeah. I mean, a Mario movie is going to sell on its own regardless.
Yeah.
People are going to go see it.
Yeah.
The only issue is whether, I mean, I have a feeling a Mario movie is going to be the #1 movie at the box office when it releases for the weekend.
Yeah.
But then it comes down to whether they actually make it a good movie that draws in people multiple weeks or whether it's just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, to follow up with that, kind of bringing old properties back into some kind of movie form, or back into the social zeitgeist, if you want to call it that. Blade Runner is getting a new computer animated series over on Adult Swim and Crunchyroll.
That's cool.
Yeah. Is it going to be like an anime?
Yes,
being on Crunchyroll?
In so many ways. Yeah, the style is very anime, but it is computer generated characters. It is called Blade Runner Black Lotus.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
And it's set to debut on November 3rd. It's a joint venture by Adult Swim and Crunchyroll, and will premiere with 2 back-to-back episodes. You can also go find the new trailer. The ambitious adaptation is brought to life with Sola Digital Arts and Alcon Entertainment, with oversight by directors Shinji Aramaki and Kenji Kamiyama.
Oh, that's where I've heard that before. About Black Lotus. That guy's working on the Lord of the Rings anime movie.
Which one?
That I talked about last time, the War of the Rohirrim.
Well, yeah, but which?
The second name you said, I think.
Kenji? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shinji Aramaki is definitely a Japanese name that I am familiar with when it comes to Japanese directors. Shinji Aramaki has worked on Halo Legends, anime Starship Troopers, and I believe he did Ghost in the Shell. One of the Ghost in the Shells. I don't remember which one. It might have been the series, but I'm almost positive on that.
Was Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Okay, yeah, so it was the series. And that one, that's arguably one of my more favorite anime series. It was really deep into like kind of tech and espionage, and it was a real rough ride sometimes, but in an enjoyable way.
Are you guys a fan of Blade Runner as a series?
I enjoyed the Blade Runner movie, and the trailer itself has a real Blade Runner feel to it, in this kind of esoteric slow pacing.
Okay.
I don't know about how the story is going to play out. It looks like it's a person of some kind, and I don't know if it's a replicant or not. But she's talking about basically hunting down, I imagine, the people who created the replicants and killing them all, or maybe killing all the replicants. I'm not sure. They keep it all pretty up in the air, which is fine. You know, you don't want to give away too much, but.
And yeah, I've never seen anything Blade Runner related. So
you've never seen the Blade Runner movie?
Nope.
Oh man, you should check it out. I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard that before from people talking about it, but Blade Runner's a really good movie.
I've heard it's good. I just haven't gotten the chance to watch it.
Yeah,
it's definitely one of those ones where you have to go into it ready for kind of almost a weird ride and really paying attention to kind of the details of it all, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's really it's almost a commentary on the future of humanity.
I wouldn't even say almost. Yeah, I'd say it is.
Yeah. I have to check it out.
Yeah.
I have to look it up and see if it's on streaming anywhere that I have.
And then the book that it's based on is great too.
What was the book called? Do you remember?
Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Oh, that's right.
It's on HBO
I couldn't
Max,
remember.
so
I knew it was something funny, but...
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for my opinions on the Blade Runner stuff. Brandon, what do you have?
Since we're talking about new TV and movie properties, Netflix is producing a sequel to That 70s Show set in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's going to be called That 90s Show.
Oh, that's original.
Yeah, real good.
Didn't they do that 80s show too?
Yeah, they did that 80s show, which didn't even get through one season, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
But the only people coming back so far are Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp, who played Red and Kitty Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents are the only ones coming back so far. And then they've said that they're going to try to get the other members for, like, to show up as, like, one-off characters on the show.
Weird. That doesn't even make sense. So 20 years in the future, and we were to assume that they were at least in their late 30s, mid 40s in that 70s show. So that'll put them in the 60s, maybe even 70s, which I guess would be okay. But what are they going to do? Talk about their grandkids? Like,
well, from the premise of the show, Donna and Eric's daughter, Leia, comes to stay with her grandparents, which would be Red and Kitty.
So it's 100% grandma and grandpa. Okay.
Yeah. Comes to stay with grandma and grandpa and meets a hilarious cast of characters in Wisconsin. And
instead of doing marijuana, they break out to cocaine.
Yeah, exactly.
And they all get into the stock market.
So, pitch me on a show, Remington, where the two main characters are husband and wife in their 70s.
You want me to pitch you on that? All right. One of them keeps calling them dumbasses, and the other one has a drinking problem.
Who are they calling dumbasses? Just everybody?
Just everybody.
Do they have a heart of gold underneath?
No. At this point, it is shriveled up and died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real piece of shit now.
Yeah. Everything is awful.
See, I'd watch that. Did you watch much of that 70s show, Rem?
I actually did watch a fair amount of it. It's one of those things that was on our TV pretty frequently.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of it. It was just one of those random sitcoms that just like, yeah, I watched it, and I don't give a shit that it existed.
I had the first two seasons and the last season on DVD, and I used to watch those all the time. Like, I'd put them on before I fell asleep.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of that 70s show, and it was actually a pretty good show. Yeah,
it was. And it was really popular at the time. It's kind of like Big Bang Theory now, almost.
Yeah.
It's like, it's good, and it's a really popular series, and there are a lot of people who watch it, but I just don't care that it exists anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And I certainly don't go out of my way to watch it anymore.
What about you, Bucky? Is that 70s show before your time?
I remember it being on. It was never really a show that I watched, unless it was like the last 5 minutes because something was on after it that I wanted to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it would have been in reruns when you were growing up.
Yeah. The most I know of it is that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis started there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Venom from Spider-Man 3 is in it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, didn't you see Venom?
Yeah, I saw Venom last Monday. It was pretty good.
So let's talk about it. Are you okay talking about spoilers, Rem?
Have I ever not been, Brendan?
I don't know. Remington, I don't know why you're talking like this now.
I've never cared, Brendan.
No, I know. I just meant in general for the podcast listening audience. Is it okay if we go into spoilers? Since the movie came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point?
I don't know, man. Ask them.
Hey, listeners, if you want us to talk about spoilers, say okay.
Okay.
And
Well, that's good enough for me.
I'm Dora
absolutely.
the Explorer.
So get into Venom, Bucky. Talk about it.
Like the first Venom movie, it was a fun movie. It wasn't the greatest movie of all time. It was actually directed by Andy Serkis, which is cool. But it was
oh, really?
had Carnage in it.
That's weird. Huh.
Yeah, directed by Andy Serkis, and it was Carnage as Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, also known as Carnage, a certain other symbiote. But honestly, the movie wasn't the best part of the movie.
Okay, what was the best part?
The mid-credit scene was the best part of the movie.
All right, so let's spoil the shit out of it right now. So skip forward if you're listening to this.
Skip forward if you don't want to know anything, because it's a pretty major thing.
There will be timestamps down at the bottom. Well, there'll be timestamps, yep.
So the end of the movie had Eddie Brock talking with Venom at a beach somewhere, right? Well, the end credit scene, they're in like their shitty little beach hut. And they're talking about what all Venom knows that he hasn't fully revealed to Eddie, and just going back and forth talking about that. And he's like, oh, well, let me show you a fraction of what I know from the universe. But as he's getting ready to do it, some random lights start flickering. And it looks very similar to lights from a certain trailer for a certain movie that came out not too long ago. And then just some weird stuff happens. The screen's going all filtered and like it's warping stuff, and then it snaps back, and the lighting is different. They're in a different room. They're at like, instead of a shitty beach hut, they're in like a resort hotel room, and they're just sitting there being like, what the hell just happened? And then from the TV you hear a certain voice talking about a certain thing that happened. You hear J. Jonah Jameson say, and thanks to Mysterio, we have now revealed the identity of Spider-Man to be Peter Parker, which was at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
So, and then you get a picture of Tom Holland as Spider-Man on the TV, and then Eddie Brock just turns into Venom, and then Venom goes up and just licks the screen. And then it kind of just cuts.
Yeah.
So Venom, Eddie Brock's Venom, Tom Hardy Venom, is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's super cool.
Well, it's not confirmed, but it's pretty much confirmed. Like, no one has said anything about it yet, but it's exciting to think about. He's probably, if in fact it is, and Marvel Studios isn't just like, what the fuck are you trying to pull, Sony? He'll probably be the 6th member of the Sinister Six that they're doing for the MCU.
Who do we have set up as the Sinister Six so far?
Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock from the Tobey Maguire movies, Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Jamie Foxx.
Yep. And then Michael Keaton as the Vulture, and then probably Mysterio. And if not Mysterio, they could do Matt Gargan, the Scorpion, because they did introduce him in Homecoming.
And they did?
Yeah, he was the guy trying to buy weapons from Vulture on the ferry.
Oh, okay.
The guy who played Voss from Far Cry 3.
Okay.
Huh.
And then Venom. So I really hope this goes. I really hope Venom is in it, because I do like Tom Hardy's Venom. It's a fun character, and I like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock in Venom.
Yeah.
The one thing that's like the best, because you always see, like in superhero movies, the main character, they always look fairly okay. Like they're always like well dressed, stuff like that. And then you get into Venom, and Tom Hardy just looks like a piece of shit the entire time.
Yeah, isn't he always like sweaty and beat up?
Oh yeah. He's
clothes?
always sweaty, beat up, like half done with Venom shit.
So is Carnage pretty good in the movie?
Yeah, Carnage was good. I don't know anything about Carnage in the comics, so I don't know if he was made in the same way or not. But the way in the movie, Cletus Cassidy, before he gets put to the death sentence, asks for Eddie Brock to come visit him. And then he goes to visit him, and during the visit, he ends up biting Eddie Brock's hand and drawing blood, but ends up, and then that's what creates the symbiote Carnage.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's how it was in the comics.
So the symbiote passes through Tom Hardy's blood into Cletus Cassidy?
Yeah, and then just because of how insane Cletus Cassidy is, it becomes a different thing.
Oh, okay. See, I loved Carnage from the comics, but I'm not sure what his origin story is. I know that he was a part of Venom, at least in one of the stories, although there's been so many different Carnage stories at this point.
My roommate just came in and told me apparently in the comics they were like Cletus Cassidy and Eddie Brock were cellmates.
Okay.
And then that's how it happened.
They passed it through smooching?
Probably, or other maybe Eddie Brock dropped the soap or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Cletus, he saw his opportunity and took it.
So while we're still running that gamut of shows and movie news, Squid Game is really gaining popularity. It is a Netflix series, a survival drama out of South Korea, and it's about a group of people who are all deeply in debt for one reason or another, and they're kind of tricked into getting that one last win, or that, changing their life, turning it around, and get duped into being brought to a secret island where they have to play very simple children's games, and if they are caught or not, or if they lose, they die. They are just killed on the spot.
Yeah, there's like dudes with machine guns guarding them, isn't there?
Yeah,
from the artwork I've seen.
Yeah, guys with machine guns. Well, I think the first trial is a game of red light, green light, and there's this giant little girl animatronic robot or whatever, and her whole body turns around, and then when she says red light or green light, her head swivels around and faces the tree, and when she says red light, it swivels around and faces them. And anybody still moving with the cameras in her eyes, if they see, or if she sees them, gets auto tracked from machine guns up in the ceiling or higher on the walls, and just obliterates them.
Oh, that's cool.
Lord.
Yeah, and I think that's just the first one. So
yeah,
I haven't watched it, but I did watch a YouTube video explaining like how the tactics that you would use to survive these games and what these games are, and he kind of runs you through the whole series in that way. I mean, it's 100% spoilery, so if you want to watch the show, it has received widespread critical acclaim for a lot of different things: art direction, atmosphere, music score, directing, etc., and so on. The English dub has apparently been criticized, according to Wikipedia. I don't know why, because like I said, I haven't watched it. But watching that whole video, it looked like it was really interesting. And it was kind of like what would you call it? It wouldn't be a review. It would be
like the video you watched.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
He talks about the whole series under the guise of like how you would survive it, but really it was like a synopsis. There we go. That's the word that I'm looking for. It was like a synopsis of the whole show. And so I kind of feel like I've watched it without getting all of the bits and bobs from it.
Yeah. I know that people were complaining that the English dub was changing some of the point of the show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but I haven't seen any more than that because I want to watch Squid Game, so I'm trying to avoid spoilers for it.
Yeah. The series drew some criticism upon release for its similarity to the Japanese film As the Gods Will, released in 2014. It is an adaptation of a manga and has a story based around dangerous versions of children's games, such as Doruma-san ga Koronda, the Japanese version of Red Light, Green Light. Responding to allegations of plagiarism, director Hwang Dong-hyuk stated that he had begun working on the script as long ago as 2008 and that the similarities between the two films, of which he had been made aware during the process of filming, were coincidental. He acknowledged that he had been inspired by Japanese comics and animation, including Battle Royale and Liar Game. So yeah, the clips that I saw from that video, I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
The cinematography itself is just fantastic.
Yeah, Korean puts out some good shows. Like, I wish I had an example to say, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z I've watched before, these movies I've seen before, but Korea seems to be pretty good at horror, especially.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have a long history of some really good cult classics. What was Old Boy was Japanese though, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I want to say it's Korean, but is it?
Oh no, yeah, it's Korean. Yeah, Old Boy was probably for me. It was my first foray into South Korean film, and that was an amazing movie. Not the 2013 one, but the 2003 one.
Like the original one?
Yeah, the original one. The 2013
See, that's a movie I've never seen either, but I've really wanted to. Old Boy, the original.
Yeah. The 2013 one was directed by Spike Lee and written by Mark Protosevich and stars Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Olsen. And
yeah, I heard the 2013 one was not as good.
Yeah, but it's a really convoluted movie for sure. And it's really good. The Korean version is super good. And then let's see here. There's another one that I can't remember, but it's 100% a Japanese movie. I don't remember what the name of it was though. But I remember just being blown away by the sheer weirdness of it all. If I think of it, I'll comment on it, but I don't.
Yeah, just jump back in with it.
Yeah, I'll just randomly. We're in the middle of space news, and it's this. So yeah, like I said, it looks pretty awesome, Brandon. If you actually sit down and watch it, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the whole thing.
Definitely.
Bucky, do you think it's something that does it sound interesting to you to watch?
The concept sounds interesting. I don't have Netflix right now, so I have no way to watch it. But
that's fair.
Honestly,
I don't
a lot of those
Netflix
shows
either,
I don't. Yeah, a lot of those shows I say I want to watch and then I never do. Like
Yeah,
I really wanted to
same.
get into Altered Carbon and then never did.
Right.
So,
Well, that's mine, Bucky. What you got? Or wait, no, we were gonna go to Brandon real quick and then back to Bucky.
It's
right?
me. It's Brandon.
It's okay. Brandon, what you got?
It's me. It's Brandon. Ghostbusters Afterlife was shown to an audience at New York City Comic Con.
Yeah, I heard
on Friday.
About that.
A month and a half in advance of its release.
Bucky was actually mentioning something of it before we started recording, before you even popped in.
Yeah.
That's pretty
cool. That's good for our listeners who haven't listened, who didn't hear any of that before Stuff Remington.
Yeah, but still, it's did you say 2 months before?
A month and a half. So yeah, basically.
Curse us not being able to go to Comic-Cons.
A friend of mine actually went and was at that panel and got to see it and said it was really, really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting really good public reception too, like online through social media and stuff.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the ones that I would like to go see. Whether I do or not is a different story, but what I would like to go see in the theater. Because I love the Ghostbusters movies. Yeah,
Ghostbusters is a great series.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them.
I watched the cartoon even when I was a kid.
Did you say you've never seen Ghostbusters, Bucky?
Yep.
Why are we
That's
even
another
allowing?
Movie you should sit down.
Why are we even allowing him on the podcast?
Wait a minute, Brandon. Did you just say that's a reason I need to be put down?
No, but
that's not what I said. But that should have been what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, I just never. I think I've seen bits and pieces of the first one, but I don't remember ever watching it all the way through.
It's worth it. Ghostbusters is a good movie. The number 2 I like better than 1, but a lot of people they don't agree with that. So if you're gonna watch them, watch at least the first one, and then if you're super hyped, watch the second one. But the second one, you're not missing out as much.
I'll watch the most recent one first. How about that?
The 2016 one?
Yeah.
I would probably pass on that one until you see the original.
No. To me, that will be the original.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to myself. I've heard that it's just a piece of garbage.
It's funny. It's just not Ghostbusters funny.
I heard Thor was good in it.
Oh, yeah, he's hilarious. And I mean, you can't go wrong with Kristen Wiig. I like Melissa McCarthy. Kate McKinnon's hilarious, and Leslie Jones is pretty funny too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an entirely different kind of humor than original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, original Ghostbusters, the humor derives from the fact that they're all just real schlubby and don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they're intelligent, so it's not like, oh, I slipped in poopies. You know, it's the mistakes they make are like science-related mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, in this calculation, I put 1.12 gigawatts instead of 1.21 gigawatts. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe not exactly like that, but
yeah.
Of the same ilk.
1.21 gigawatts, haha.
They're coming to take me away, ha.
All right, Bucky, you have some Marvel news?
Yeah, bring us home, Bucky.
One is kind of a short one. The other's also kind of short. Apparently, Gary Oldman is in talks for a major Marvel role.
Gary Oldman?
Yes.
I thought you said Gary Coleman for a second. I was like, well, that'll be interesting.
No, Gary Oldman, Commissioner Gordon from The Dark Knight.
That's what I was going to say.
The dude with the weird hair from The Fifth Element that I've seen half of. Sirius Black from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Apparently, they haven't. This is from a Giant Freaking Robot, but there's some. Apparently, there's some specific projects in mind, but they haven't really come up with like exactly what character. But the projects that they're thinking of, or the products that he's rumored to be in talks for, are Guardians 3, and I assume if that were the case, he'd be a villain role, or the Secret Invasion show.
Guardians 3 was already done filming.
I don't know.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Thor, Love and Rockets.
Love and Thunder?
Love and Thunder, yeah. Love and Rockets is something else. It's another show.
That sounds something like entirely different.
That sounds like one of those shows that you meant to download Thor, Love and Thunder, but then you got something that was not at all close to it.
Right.
You saw a lot more skin than you would in Thor, Love and Thunder.
Welcome to Thor, Thunder and Rockets.
Thunder and Red Rockets. I mean, what?
Wow. Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg was his name in The Fifth Element. He was the owner of the Zorg Company.
I've seen about half of that movie, kind of, recently.
Did you not like it?
No, we were watching it, and then we had to clean our house. So we kind of just stopped in the middle of it.
Gary Oldman is one of those actors that has just been prolific since the beginning.
Yeah.
Sid Vicious, he also played Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour, and Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. And that's just to name a very small subsection of his stuff.
Yeah. And then the other news, Marvel is apparently in pre-production for a spin-off show of WandaVision starring Catherine Hahn's character from that show. She played the villain Agatha Harkness.
Is she the one that you see in all the GIFs of her winking?
Yep.
Okay.
Because it was Agatha all along.
My God.
Yes. WandaVision is a great show, by the way.
Yeah, I love that actress too. What did you say her name was?
Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn? Yeah, I think she's hilarious, and everything I've seen her in, she's really funny.
Yeah.
I've seen her in a bunch of stuff, but I never really recognize her. She played a character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it was like a one-off. She played the ex-wife of the character Charles Boyle, but she was only like a couple of small appearances.
Yeah. There's a movie with Jeremy Piven called, oh shit, what is it called? I just had it. Never mind.
What?
I don't remember what it was.
She was also in Step Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to see what that is. I don't know. I don't know if it would be like a prequel to WandaVision, or I don't know how they do anything with her character post WandaVision.
Does she die at the end of WandaVision?
She doesn't die. Well, the whole crux of WandaVision is that because of the loss of Vision, Wanda just goes to this random town, and then in her grief, she creates this big illusion and kind of entraps the town in her illusion of old TV shows. And this character, Agatha Harkness, she realized she's another witch who's like, she recognized all the power that was there, so then went to try to see what it was. And then she plays the long game through it, kind of, doesn't reveal herself till the very end, but then when Wanda beats her, she doesn't kill her, but she entraps her in the character that she was playing inside of the bubble in the town.
So she gets trapped as like a snarky housewife, sort of?
As the nosy neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Fitting because that's what she was anyway.
Yeah, she was playing the nosy neighbor, and then that's what she got trapped as. But in her head, she's trapped in her head because she still understands what's going on at the end of it, and she's still there in case Wanda would have to go to her for anything about the magic, because up until then, she didn't know it was magic. What her powers were.
Wanda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's magic in the same way Doctor Strange does magic.
Yeah.
But of a completely different power level.
Like less powerful?
Way more powerful.
She's way more powerful than Doctor Strange is?
According to WandaVision, she's like, could be the bringer of the end of the world.
Agatha Harkness or
Scarlet
Wanda?
Witch.
Oh, okay, Scarlet Witch. Gotcha.
In the show, they actually finally name her the Scarlet Witch.
Man, I really need to see WandaVision. Everything about it seems like it would be right up my alley.
It's a very good show, and when I watched it week to week, they teased stuff very well, and you were always wondering what was happening next. And
yeah,
then they also have fun nods to other characters, and like Darcy from Thor and Thor, the Dark Thor. She's in it as like she's finally gotten her PhD, and she's helping the organization SWORD, helping them try to figure out what all's going on.
So do you think WandaVision benefited from the week-to-week release? That it
definitely
could show something at the end and be like,
oh, definitely.
Wait another week to see what's happening? Or do you think it's better off to be binged?
See, it depends, because I like the idea of a show all dropping at once, because then you can just sit there and enjoy the whole thing. But also you can sit there in one sitting and enjoy the whole thing, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And like then it's outside of the collective conscious of the world, and people aren't talking about it for as long. But they wrote the show and made the show work week to week very well. All of the Marvel shows have done that. So that Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki have all done a very good job of making you want to watch it week to week.
Do you think Disney's just kind of killing it on the TV front right now?
Right now, they don't have anything that I'm watching currently, because I really only watch it for Star Wars and Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
But all of the Disney Marvel shows have been very well made. It's like a movie told over episodes. And because they all have the budget of a big Marvel movie, and they're shot more or less all the way through. And it's setting up things for the rest of the MCU to where, like, if you haven't seen WandaVision and Loki, you're going to be confused as hell when Multiverse of Madness comes around.
Yeah, I feel like they're really up in their game, because if you remember Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was its own kind of separate entity that kind of branched off into everything else, but it was also using ancillary characters.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, it was supposed to be tied into the MCU. But eventually it just became so different from the movies that it just didn't make sense. Because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had a huge thing to where there was an outbreak of Inhumans.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's a pretty major thing that would be happening in the world.
Right.
But why wasn't it ever mentioned in any of the movies?
Yeah.
Like this random explosion of people, of superpowered people, are just showing up. I feel like that would be on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar. Or, the Avengers radar at the very least. They'd at least know about it.
Instead of only having S.H.I.E.L.D. taking care of it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it has something to do with... I didn't watch the series all the way through. After about season... No, how many seasons were there?
Like 7? Did you watch the Ghost Rider stuff?
Yes, I watched up through the end of the Ghost Rider stuff when they started to touch on the was it Skrull blood stuff?
The Darkhold?
Yeah.
Which that's actually in WandaVision too, but it's a different Darkhold. It's not the same thing.
Weird.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon to the MCU anymore.
Yeah. Huh.
No matter how much certain people want to think it is.
I assume you're talking about his roommate.
No, I have another friend, though, who is very adamant that it is very much canon, even though Kevin Feige himself has said, no, it's not.
Yeah. There's a lot of years between that and what's really going on in the MCU right now. I mean, I guess it was bound to kind of fall to the wayside.
Yeah. Agent Carter and the Inhuman show are like canon to each other. But they are hardly canon at all to the movies.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to say the first couple seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are canon to the movies, that's fine. But after a certain point, they break off.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all my stories.
And that's all Bucky's stories.
It was Bucketha all along.
I've got a couple of... I've got a little bit of space news, and I got a little bit of Twitch/video game news. Which one do you want to hear first?
I'll let Bucky decide.
How about some video game news?
All right. Twitch recently had a huge hack where I believe it was something like 125 gigabytes of data were breached. And
125
gigabytes of information.
Okay.
So it's like, God, it's everything from almost the beginning of time for Twitch, because it's mostly text files and stuff. So if you can imagine that a single text file is just a few kilobytes.
Oh.
All the rest of this is a whole lot more. So
okay.
Primarily, there was a lot of leaks about what the big streamers are making. That's been kind of a talking point for a lot of these articles. But there's also apparently a do not ban list of bigger notable streamers that regardless of what happens while they're alive, they don't get like an immediate ban or a perma ban. It actually says that their violations are escalated to certain people within the higher echelons of Twitch.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And they've cracked down on quite a few other streamers over time, like XQC, Amaranth, Dr. Disrespect. I don't really know what XQC does, but I'm familiar with Dr. Disrespect and Amaranth. Amaranth is, for lack of a better term, and don't bring the hate, is a titty streamer.
Those bathtub streamers.
Yeah, she capitalizes on her sexuality and her body, and it brings in a whole lot of views.
I mean, hey, if you got it.
I guess if you can make money off of it, and you're okay with all of the cons that come along with that. But she has been temporarily banned several times for certain things happening on stream. But she's always come back. So and she brings in a ton of money for him. Now, Dr. Disrespect was permabanned, and we still don't know the reason why that was. He switched over to YouTube, and there's still some legal stuff going on between Dr. Disrespect and Twitch, so he hasn't been able to say the reason why he's been permabanned. But in the wake of all of this as well, and this is kind of the follow-up story, somebody also was trolling Twitch by making several of the streaming platforms' game directory pages a picture of Jeff Bezos having like a super surprised face. They call it the PogChamp emote, for those of you who are in the know for what the PogChamp is. But some of it was really subtle. Like there's Grand Theft Auto 5. It's just barely in the background behind like all the text and the graphic for the directory for Grand Theft Auto 5. And it like you can just barely see his eyes up in shock, or surprise or whatever through a hazy background. And that's still
because
one that
Amazon
exists.
owns Twitch now, don't they?
Yes, Amazon owns Twitch. They were purchased in 2014, I think.
Okay.
For like $9 billion. 2014 for $970 million in an all-cash deal.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having that much cash in front of you.
Yeah. And before this leak, September 1st, thousands of streamers boycotted Twitch for a single day over its failure to address hate raids and other attacks aimed predominantly at marginalized content creators. So, it's really a case of big company not giving a shit what's happening on its stuff. So, and there have been a lot of streamers that have switched over to like bigger streamers that are slowly moving over to YouTube or moving over to like Facebook gaming or what have you, to try and get away from that toxicity of the Twitch space that seems to be gaining traction, I guess one could say. I know that there are a few streamers that I know, just small streamers, who there was a bot that was going around just adding hundreds of people to your friends list or your follower list that were all just bot accounts that were potentially part of this hate raid scheme.
So a bot was adding more bots to your friends list so they could just give you shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. But in other news, what has been really fun is the game New World.
It's been getting a lot of talk lately.
It has been, and I've seen everybody on my follow list playing it, like just tons of people. It is a sandbox MMORPG, similar to the likes of like EVE Online. I've heard a few players who have played WoW kind of compare it a little bit to WoW. I don't know how. I don't think that there's really a lot of WoW vibe to it. Oh, sorry. I was breathing and had to burp at the same time.
I was wondering what the fuck that was.
It just made me gasp. New World has been out just for over 2 weeks, and already players are beginning to screw each other out of vast quantities of gold, however.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
In true MMORPG form, if people are able to be taken advantage of, they will be taken advantage of. While New World might not be a true sandbox MMO, the likes of EVE Online, it soon might have a similar reputation for skullduggery. Or skullduggery, however you say it.
Skullduggery.
I want dudgery instead. Dudgery dues.
Well,
skullduggery dues.
Mispronouncing. You can call it that, but you'd be mispronouncing the word.
That's fine. We'll just bring the Viscount in and...
Get him set up on an archipelago.
Yeah, in the fjords. Shout outs to old times. Over on the New World subreddit, players began sharing stories this week of entire factions collapsing thanks to the misdeeds of a few players. Quote, I think Heracleon's server Syndicate faction just got the speedrunning record for New World's faction-shattering drama, wrote a player named Paradogs. Just 7 days. In New World, players are divided up into 3 factions that are perpetually at war with one another for control of different zones. Players can create companies, New World parlance for guilds, that represent their faction and can declare war against other companies for direct control over settlements and their surrounding countryside. If a company owns a territory, they profit from taxes earned by players trading items or using its crafting stations, while companies without land mostly have to rely on the generosity of their members. The only problem is companies have to operate on a high level of trust, as there's nothing stopping company leadership from running off with all that gold. So the long and the short of it, it seems like people are setting up companies and not doing it the way that it was designed, and are instead just taking gold from everybody that they recruit into their membership once they feel they have enough.
So they're creating like a pyramid scheme almost?
Yeah.
So that what are they doing? Taking money and then closing down the companies and just keeping all the money they took?
Just as Paradogs, well, I'll go ahead and give Paradogs explanation to the one that I think happened to him. Or her, I don't know, it doesn't say. It does say he. Fuck me. Paradox goes on to explain that on Heracleon, one of the New World's many servers, he belonged to an unnamed company that recently lost a war against another one of New World's factions. Now, without territory to call their own, the guild leader began begging Paradox Company to cough up every last bit of gold they could in order to pay the fee needed to acquire the deed to the last remaining unclaimed zone on the server. Since winning wars was obviously not this person's forte, this was the company's last shot at owning land. Paradox says 200 players donated to fill the company coffers to the tune of about 60,000 gold, which is an unfathomably large sum for most players. That's when Paradox guild leader emptied all the money into his character's wallet and disappeared.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. From there, Paradox says his guild leader and friends started new characters, transferred the money, and deleted their old ones so they could start over without anyone knowing who they were. The sudden scam has apparently sent Heracleon's Syndicate faction into full chaos. 90 people from the guild are left alone, broken, and betrayed. The faction, the smallest on this server, is in disarray and full of betrayal. No one trusts anyone, and no one knows anything to do about it other than get invaded and die whimpering. Yeah.
See, I can see how that would be attractive to people to play, like that sort of corporate espionage, especially if you're the one doing it. Mm-hmm. But it just sounds so brutal. Like, I don't know if it's something I want to play.
See, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how rampant situations like this are, you know? I don't know about their reporting system, if they have one. I think that if they do, which they should, I mean, every game at this point has some kind of reporting system if you're playing with other people. I think that this should definitely be added to the list of problems that you can report on if it's not already.
No, I kind of like the idea that you can get screwed like that if you're not careful.
Yeah. It's like real life.
Exactly.
That's true. I mean, and you do raise a valid point. Go ahead, Bucky.
Here's the thing, though. Now, are you paying actual money for any of this? Like any of the in-game currency? Do you have to pay actual money for?
I don't know. I believe the game is $40, and then it's just free to go from there.
Okay. Well, but past that, there aren't like microtransactions to get more, like how Grand Theft Auto has shark cards.
Right. I have no idea.
There probably is.
But yeah, if you're working in-game and you're getting all that money, the in-game currency, just from spending time doing a certain task or questing or something like that, and then you get screwed over like that, I feel like that's more on you as an individual rather than it sucks you wasted all that time for more or less nothing at that point. But again, learn a valuable life lesson. You can get screwed over at any moment.
Yeah. And it is one of those weird things where you can't just go in, no matter how much fun you're having with other people who are strangers, like charity is a thing that will be taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a game that people will play online because it doesn't matter. Like, the long and the short of it is it's just a game, and if you waste if you spend a bunch of hours gaining a bunch of gold and then decide to donate it to somebody, you have to be okay with the fact that you're not going to see that money again. Whether they use it for what they say they're going to or not, once you give it away, it's not yours anymore. So that's a
man.
that's
when did we become such corporate whores, Remington?
Well, I don't think that's a corporate whore thing.
Became a subsidiary of the Nerdist podcast.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's a good callback.
But I don't think that's not a corporate mindset, really. Like, whenever I've made a donation to somebody or a good cause, I expect for them to use that money for whatever cause they're promoting. But the long and the short of it is, and there are laws that protect against people using it for stuff that's not what they say it's for. But there are ways around it. I mean, you hear about different charities all the time that 70% of their donations or 50% of their donations or even 20% go to the corporate structure of it and keeping it running. And then the rest of it is what goes to charity. If it's 40 or 50% that's keeping the corporate structure running, then there's a problem. But
I mean, it's corporate in the sense that, at least from what I understand of the story that you've explained, these people joined a corporation that was going to give them protection, but the corporation needed money to buy land, so they donated all their corporation to get land, and then the corporation just dissolved itself and took all their money.
Yeah, from that perspective, I can see where you would say it's a corporate espionage.
Yeah,
for sure, 100%. But from the donations point of view, that's what I'm saying. You have to be willing to give that money away,
Mm-hmm.
And if you're running low, then or you have a small amount of funds and you're being pressured to give up some of those funds, and you're like, I don't know about that, but it's for the greater good. That's a problem. Because
so is New World a game that you would be interested in trying out at some point?
I don't know, man. It's so hard for me to say that I'd like to try out a game anymore. There's just so many other things that I enjoy doing that's not gaming anymore. Like, I enjoy talking about the games and I enjoy watching people play some of these games, but playing them myself anymore, I don't know. I find different things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you so boring.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm okay with that.
I was going to say we should both buy it and play together, but if you're not interested or you won't play it, then there's no reason to.
I mean, that's true.
Even if I did convince you to buy it, which I don't think I could, but even if I did convince you to buy it, I think you would play with me like once, maybe twice before you were like, oh no, I've got some bullshit I need to edit.
Yes. Yes and no. I guess it depends on when we played and if we could get some kind of a loose schedule about doing it, honestly. And I think that really falls into the not ADHD that I have, where anymore, like I kind of need that scheduled structure of things to happen. Otherwise, I just don't do them.
Yeah.
Which is an unfortunate thing, but it seems to be the case. The comments of that Reddit thread, which was upvoted over 3,000 times, soon filled with other players sharing similar stories. It seems all across New World servers, company leaders are emptying out their guild banks and defecting to an to an opposing faction, while other companies are collapsing over interpersonal drama. Quote, this game is wreaking havoc on weak minds. I've a friend whose guild leader kicked him and others only because they didn't agree about some in-game strategies after winning, wrote one commenter. Years of friendship playing other games going to trash. It's insane.
See, this is why I don't like playing multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Like, I'll occasionally hop on Minecraft with, like, people that I know and just play, like, Minecraft or something like that. But that's why I wouldn't hop into a game like that with just a bunch of randoms.
Yeah.
I just don't like that interaction. Like, this is a game. I'm supposed to be having fun. I don't need someone shitting on me because I think is the game I need to be doing this certain thing for a game.
Right. It is one of those things where there's, different types of gamers get their kicks different ways, and it's one of those ones where you have to enjoy a PvP, a player versus player setting to play a game like this. It's not like some of the smaller multiplayer games like Among Us or was it Phantasmagoria? Is that what it's called? The ghost hunting game?
Yeah.
No, Phantasmagoria is a 90s Sierra game. No, it's an old game.
Oh, okay.
Phasmophobia?
Phasmophobia? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Phasmophobia.
Something like that.
Yeah. But that's one of those smaller multiplayer games that, or whatever that one is, where it's like the knockoff movie monsters that one of you is the monster and the rest of the people are running from you in a closed off setting.
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, yeah. All of those are like smaller multiplayer games that really you're not going to suffer if somebody like screws you over in one way or another. And most of the time you're working together. So
yep, very true.
Yeah. So that's my game news. Moving on very quickly to my space news. Rover pictures show a long history of rivers flowing into a Martian crater.
Fun.
Yeah. So
and we go Martian whitewater rafting.
Yeah. So just more proof that Mars has had water in its past. Turns out some of the early photographs from the rover revealed features in some near vertical rock walls some distance from the landing site, details that tell us about the history of the flow of water into Jezero Crater. The Jezero Crater was chosen as Perseverance's landing site because images taken from orbit indicated it once hosted a lake. The photos revealed an exit channel that allowed water to flow through a gap in the crater walls and a site where rivers flowed into the feed lake. There was also what appeared to be a river delta spreading into the crater from these sites. The rover's mission profile includes sampling material from that delta, which might once have been an inviting environment for life and would have collected any living material that existed upstream. So, yeah, just more proof of water in Mars's history.
That's crazy to think about, that they're just like, hey, yeah, by the way, we've speculated forever that Mars may have had water. Well, here's proof that it did have water.
Yeah.
And it has water on the poles.
There's in the ice on the poles. Yeah. But it's all captured and it sublimates pretty quickly now. So
yeah.
I think really the more promising science that's happening here is the hope of finding past remnants of life, because they haven't found that yet. Except, did they find well, I think recently I talked about like methane gas pockets.
Yeah.
And that being a potential indication of life or past life or microcellular life on Mars. So going back, the more important thing is whether we can find that there was like multicellular early Cretaceous style life on Mars, similar to what there might have been on Earth at the same time. Any kind of fossil record, anything like that.
Do you think they'll find life in our lifetime?
Like currently living life, or just fossil record of life in the past?
Fossil record.
I think it's a pretty high probability, because, for a little while Mars was a water-based planet, and where there's water, there usually seems to be life, even if it's like super hot or super cold.
Yeah.
I mean, we are continuing to find organisms living in extreme conditions.
Yeah, did you see those three-eyed shrimp that washed up in Arizona, I think?
No.
Or Alabama? Yeah, Arizona or Alabama, I can't remember, but there was monsoons, which would make Alabama make more sense.
Right.
That managed to like wash up these eggs that were laid by these three-eyed shrimp, and the eggs hatch like every 6 to 1,000 years, every 600 to 1,000 years.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah,
to think
of. So they think that the shrimp, because they were thawed out and the eggs hatched because of this monsoon, they laid eggs, so we won't see them again until like the year 3000 or so.
That's nuts. That's nuts to think of.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy looking too.
600 to 1,000 years.
Wonder what they taste like.
They're actually pretty big too. Like you can see a picture of somebody holding one in their hand, and they look like about the size of a rolled up bill.
Huh.
Imagine though, going back to the Mars thing, imagine eventually once people get to Mars and we have a colony there, imagine if they just found like this ungodly large thing, like the fossil of something huge.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's going to be how we find proof. Not a rover going around and finding like possibly something, or maybe they could find traces or like clues that would lead to something with the rovers, but I feel like because the rover can only do so much. Yeah. They can only take small samples of dirt or X-ray something, or maybe a seismographic type of test. But I feel like it's going to take humans on the surface of Mars in order to find any more substantial proof than what we have now.
You're talking like finding fossils of dinosaurs or something?
Obviously, probably not dinosaurs, but fossils of anything.
Yeah.
Because if you have a group of people, you could survey a larger area. And when you have people, you can do different things, or if you think something might be there, you can figure out a way around of trying to see that. You have a rover over there that takes a command that takes 8 minutes to get there, and it drills a hole however deep it is in relation to how big the drill bit is. What's that going to do? Sure, you might be able to find something that would prove that maybe life was here. But if you want to find fossils, I feel like you're going to have people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, because it's just a total shot in the dark otherwise.
Yeah. Because imagine the news if it's just like, we just found something comparable to the size of a woolly mammoth on Mars.
That would be like, fucking awesome.
Bruh.
Yeah. So
you'd think because of the lower gravity things on Mars, if there was ever life on Mars, that it could have gotten to be a lot bigger than any life on Earth because of the lower gravity.
In theory, yeah. So to follow up with some more space news, Vladimir Putin has slashed Russia's space budget and says that he expects better results.
Well, fair enough.
Yep. Russia plans to slash funding for spaceflight activities during the coming 3-year period from 2022 to 2024. The cuts will come to about 16% annually. Several Russian publications, including Finance.ru, report. For 2022, the state budget for space activities will be set at 210 billion rubles, or $2.9 billion, a cut of 40.3 billion rubles, or 557 million. So he's cutting 557 million US dollars from the budget down to 2.9 billion.
Because he's not getting the results he wanted?
Apparently. Similar cuts will follow in subsequent years. The most significant decreases will be in areas such as manufacturing / technological activities and cosmodrome development. Funding for scientific research and development was zeroed out entirely.
Jeez.
Yeah, so in true Russian format, it's like, you know what? I'm not seeing what is happening here. I'm going to cut all your money. Do better. Or else!
Do more with less.
Do more with less.
In Soviet Russia...
Space fucks you! Well, that's pretty much true everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, otherwise you fuck space? Is that where, like in America?
I mean, we do send long phallic-shaped objects into space, so...
That's true.
You make a good point.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
In the good old US of A, if we're not fucking it, we're not interested.
I mean, one of the company's names is SpaceX, so...
I think you're mispronouncing that, Bucky.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit off, man.
And then Jeff Bezos' rocket just straight up looked like a penis. There's no way.
100%
It was a penis rocket.
Dude, I saw people online talking about how much his rocket looked like a penis, and I thought like, oh, haha, rockets look like penises, we all get it. Until I looked up a picture, and then was like, holy shit, it looks exactly like a penis.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Just balls and everything.
I saw a meme where someone compared it to the rocket from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And my final bit of space news is pioneering astronaut Sally Ride will appear on a limited run U.S. quarter. This is the first quarter depicting celebrated women who push cultural and political boundaries. Other quarters will include Maya Angelou, Wilma Mankiller, Nina Otero Warren, and Anna May Wong. Maya Angelou, the writer, Wilma, an advocate for Native American and women's rights, Nina, a New Mexico suffrage leader, and Anna, the first Chinese American Hollywood star. But it'll all get kicked off with Dr. Sally Ride. Not only was she the first woman to travel into space, but she was also responsible for founding NASA's Office of Exploration and led the California Space Institute and played key roles in the investigations of the Challenger and Columbia disasters. She fostered interest in space among kids and girls in particular. Ride also broke new ground for the LGBTQ community as the first lesbian in space. It's no surprise Ride will have a quarter then. She had an outsized influence on spaceflight and society at large, Engadget says.
That's cool. And it says something about women's studies that I had heard of Maya Angelou off that list, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, interesting story.
Yeah, something that is not covered nearly enough.
Remember when quarters were just like the states?
I remember before quarters were the states, Bucky. I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember when quarters were just...
Brandon, you're old.
Were just eagles on the back.
You could get a soda for a quarter.
De pluribus unum, that's what it said.
Back in my day.
That's Latin for all you whippersnappers.
E pluribus unum.
Montani semper libre.
Yeah. The quarter itself will feature a picture of Dr. Sally Ride gazing at the Earth as she was wont to do when she was in space, looking out the window down on the planet.
Just looking down on all of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, look at me. I'm in space. I am superior now.
You all look like ants from up here.
Actually, I can't see any of yous because I'm so high in space.
I feel like that's what every astronaut must feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you go to space if you got the chance?
Yeah.
Had a chance to go on like one of SpaceX's if you like won a seat.
Yeah.
On one of their tourist missions.
100%. I would 100%.
I'd love to do that. I probably couldn't because of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd win it. They'd test me and be like, "What the? Why the fuck do you think you can do this? You'll die." I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Listen,
I feel that would be the way to go out.
I'll be the first guy with a heart condition to die in space. Then let's go. So you wouldn't, Brandon?
I don't think so. Space kind of freaks me out, especially after the Ways to Die in Space episode that we did.
Yeah.
Where you just implode.
Yeah. Lots of different ways to die.
There are lots of different ways, but they're all quick.
Yeah, plus I don't like high-speed stuff. I don't know if I'd like being rocketed into the atmosphere at like...
You don't want to ride an explosion?
No.
But you drive a car.
Yeah, but a car's not rocketing me like 3 G's into the atmosphere, or 0 G's, or however
That's
many
fair.
G's.
All of the G's.
Yeah.
belong to you.
That's the end of my
Forget about
space news.
all the G's.
Yeah.
All right. I have a story, but I want to save it for next time we record because I want to get a discussion going with it.
Oh, Brandon. Okay.
Give us a tease.
Give us a little teaser. That way, if it takes us another month to get to it, we might remember to talk about it.
Little tease will be that a UK court has decided that AI cannot patent their own devices.
That will be an interesting talking point. All right.
Yeah.
Get the wheels turning.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, there's your teaser for next episode, everybody. If you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at DuelingOgres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page. Do we have any comments?
I'm pulling it up right now to see.
It's been so long. I don't even remember if we have any comments.
It's been 1 week.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me, dropped your head to the side, and said you're angry.
Oh.
I don't know the rest of the words because I have dementia.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Copyright claim.
Didn't you guys start an episode with that joke not too long ago?
Probably.
Stuck a finger in your ass and said, I'm sorry.
Whoa. What noise was that?
Nerd.
Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I've got this pulled up.
Okay.
We have 3 comments actually.
Ooh.
Our first comment is from Viscount Terry W. over in the second, who says, any hope for getting the $10,000 asking price for the Dueling Ogres podcast was shattered after the Benedict Cumberbatch voice imitations. Otherwise, great episode.
Ooh, I don't want to be any part of that.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Joshua Karen Smith says, did you find some? In reference to the Mountain Dew Flaming Hot that we advertised.
Nope, I didn't even... Once the episode was done, I didn't even look for it again.
Yeah, I haven't even tried to find it because it would be disgusting and I don't want to try it. And then Mumfrey says, Black, too many Dews already.
Wow, so, everybody has some strong feelings against the Dew.
Yeah, seriously. And Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. I will say that there are, over at the Piggly Wiggly, they have, like 6 different flavors of Baja Blast now or some bullshit. Like, come on, Mountain Dew. Get with the times. Just stick with a couple of flavors. It's fine. In fact, get some Diet Code Red up in this part of the country, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy some Diet Code Red.
Just drink regular Code Red, but only drink like a can.
Brandon, that's like asking me not to breathe. Make sure to subscribe at our website at duelingogres.com for news shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news, or not. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything is awesome. No. Oh.
Or if you would like to write some articles so people can come and read your stuff, you can get a hold of us at duelingogres@gmail.com as well. And just be like, hey, I want to talk about the thing that I went to that was real fun and it's geeky. And I'll be like, okay. And then you can write it and I'll post it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Magic. I'll even do all the editing for you. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, or everywhere else. Not nearly anywhere, but everywhere you can find a podcast. So until next week, Go-Gers, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp. Good night.
Recording started. Baby Murlocs. Shut up, Kevin. Why did that even come through? It was on silent. Fucking Android. Anybody have a word for the day?
I'm watching a video of a pit bull rescuing a baby dog from a swimming pool.
Aww. And
Might be kind of a long word, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Popcorn Saturday evening.
Popcorn is a noun, not an adjective.
And today's Sunday.
Yeah. Read the room, Bucky.
That's the problem, Rem. I can't read
Makes sense.
on this customized Sunday evening.
Customized is good.
Okay, customized it is. Last one was computerized, so.
Computerized, customized.
Digitized and separized.
Fucking website, fucking comicbook.com.
Yep, the worst website on the web.
I have ad block, so all the ads aren't there. But
yeah, and yet somehow they still get through.
It's an auto-played video. It isn't an ad, though.
We're comicbook.com, and we're the worst website in history. You want 400 ads popping up? Good, we've got it.
At least their information is generally somewhat accurate.
What's that? You're using an ad blocker? Too goddamn bad. Here's an auto-playing video that you can't stop.
I stopped it.
Unless you look at the back-end code.
And Jennifer Tilly is so hot. I don't care that she's old.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do. You just don't realize you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You just don't realize it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at Google images of her, and I have no idea.
You do. Yeah. You just don't know it.
You do. You do.
Okay, from what then?
Did you ever see Bride of Chucky?
You know it.
Nope.
Why not?
Oh, then maybe not.
Because I don't like horror movies.
What's wrong with you? What are you, some kind of... I don't like horror movies either.
What are you, some kind of bitch?
Bitch.
Yes.
What about Liar Liar?
Is that Jim Carrey movie?
Uh-huh.
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
She was in that.
Okay.
Yeah, she was.
I don't remember any of it. But
she was a voice in Monsters, Inc.
As who? That one I've seen.
Steven.
Steven.
Mike Wazowski.
Let's see here.
She was in Monsters at Work. Oh, Cecilia. Or Celia,
okay.
The Mike Wazowski's girlfriend.
Yeah.
She has a really distinct voice.
That's exactly what I was just getting ready to say.
Googly bear! And then the Miracle Man has to, do what he does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Mike Wazowski, the Miracle Man. It's inconceivable.
Inconceivable!
You keep saying that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I'll inconvenience you.
Nah.
You'll inconceive me?
Yeah.
Is that how would that
reverse
work?
Conception?
How would reverse conception work?
I'll unborn you.
So murder.
I'll unborn you identity style. Get it? Because it's Born Identity?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
More like the Bored Identity.
I'm Arnold.
I like how we just degraded the making noises.
We reject humanity and become monkey.
Alrighty, we ready to do this?
Oh, I suppose.
I was ready 15 minutes ago, Remington.
I was ready 34 minutes ago, Remington. But Brandon,
I'm ready for your dick.
Hello, Ogres.
Shit, sorry. I didn't know you were starting. I read a stupid meme.
Good job. I thought you were laughing at the awkward silence.
No, forgot my mic was on and farted in a Zoom class, and it made me full screen so everyone knew it was me.
That's gold.
All right. Anyway, go ahead. I will be quiet.
But
other
than that,
butts are for sitting.
No.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
Listen, we haven't done it in a while. We got to get into the swing of things.
Because we've been talking about our dicks and shit.
Yes. We're getting old. That's all that we have to talk about anymore.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Dicks and Shit podcast.
No.
Yes. That is what this is now.
We're gonna cut all that out.
Yeah. I'm cutting everything out. I'm cutting every time you talk out.
He gets the audio recording of the podcast and then he just deletes it immediately. Okay, I edited the podcast.
We're done. Put it up.
It's been edited.
I edited it to the best of my abilities.
It's just a 5-second clip of Rem just saying sorry. That's the next episode of the podcast.
Oh. All right. Can we
Brandon,
take like a... Give me
Okay.
a minute. Can we take a break so I can brew a cup of coffee real quick? I need some energy because I'm dragging right now.
You're a dragon? Are you breathing fire?
Shut up. All of you just shut up.
No.
Let me get more
This is a
coffee.
podcast. This is a podcast. You're supposed to talk.
All right. Sorry about that.
You good?
I've got some fresh brewed hot coffee.
Yeah.
My dick's hard and I'm ready to go.
Bro, same.
Well, whenever you're ready, ring in the next story.
I put my dick in my coffee.
That sounds like not
painful.
the nice time.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Then why did you do it?
Impulse.
Are you just into pain or something?
I'm into fucking coffee, Bucky.
Oh.
And if I do it before I've turned it into coffee, it's just gets grounds all over my dick.
It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere. Not like once it's brewed. Once it's brewed, it's smooth and fucking scalding.
Exactly. All right. I'll have you lead me back into a story, Rem. Just whenever you're ready, ask me or tell me to go with another story.
Okay. Well, that's my... Oh, fuck me. Okay, hold on.
Okay, where and when?
What? Okay. Do you have any more like show or movie news, Brandon?
I have some Marvel news.
Your name isn't Brandon. It's Bucky.
Oh yes. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Other than that, I could mention the other one real quick because I know neither of you have seen WandaVision.
Yep.
Yeah, just give me a better lead in than that.
Okay.
I've got... Brandon, do you have anything else?
I have one more story.
Okay. I've got a couple more, and I've got some space news.
Space nudes.
Yeah, some space nudes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, why don't we go into what you got?
Okay. While New World might not be a true sandbox MMO... Oh, sorry. I was reading that wrong. I have to retract some statements. I was reading one thing and thought I was reading another. I know, I'm stupid. While New World might not be a true sandbox like MMO... While New World might not be a true sandbox MMO like the Eves of... Like... Shit.
Oh my God, Remington.
Damn it. Fuck. While New World might not be a true sandbox MMO like... Fuck. There is a the there. The likes of EVE Online. Okay, one more time and then I'm done. If I fuck it up now, I'll just shit on it later.
All right.
Hold on a second. I will be right back.
Yeah, I'll go pee, I guess.
Okay. Hello.
Hey.
Okay. I had to pee as well.
All right, I'm back.
It was literally like a deluge of liquid just hit my bladder all at once.
That sounds
like
that sounds like a kink.
I was in the middle of the story and I did not have to pee, and then all of a sudden I did, and I was like, well, I'll wait until I roll through it. And then it was like, no, go fucking pee now, dude.
Pee now or forever piss your pants.
Yeah, you jumped off there pretty fast.
Yeah. It was a shock to me. All right, where did I leave off there?
You were mispronouncing the word Herculean or whatever
Herculean.
It was. Herculean.
Homunculin.
Herculean.
No, it's Heraclean. Because it's more like Heracles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who is not only the first female astronaut to go into space. Well, hold on. Yeah, I just had to double check to make sure that was right. I was like, oh shit, was she the first woman in space? She was, right? Yes, she was. Okay. Perfect. All right. Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
You.